Welcome into WagerTalk TV. We're talking an ACC matchup here, Virginia versus Clemson. I'm joined by Robbie Vino and Brian Leonard from WagerTalk.com. I am Drew Martin from SportsMemo.com. Brian, coming to you first here. It's a fascinating matchup. Virginia visiting Clemson here. Clemson laying 4 touchdowns exactly is how I see it right now, minus 28. 55 being the total. Any strong interest in betting this ACC matchup, Brian?
Yeah, this is a game that Virginia's had circled. They just lost the ACC championship game 62-17 to Clemson just a little while ago. Interesting to note that Virginia played Duke last week, and the Duke quarterback is the former Clemson quarterback, Chase Bryce. They picked him up 5 times in last week's game, so maybe that'll give them a little bit of confidence going up against Clemson again here. Clemson's off a bye week, and normally you would say that's a good thing. But with the COVID situation here, when you have a bye week with the college campuses, that's something you really got to be worried about. Now, from what I have read, everybody has come back clean. There hasn't been any problems with the Clemson players. They're only going to be missing 1 starter this weekend, so that's a nice thing to see out of the bye week. And just a quick note on last time the Tigers took the field, they led Citadel 49-0 at the half, threw a shutout in the second half, and still couldn't cover the number. I may think that if Clemson's in a position to put an extra touchdown on this week, they may do it based on I'm sure all the backers were in their face last week about it. But right now, if you look, and you mentioned 28 across the board, Chris Bookmaker has 27.5. That's the biggest book in the offshore market, biggest book in the States. And for them to have the only 27.5 when everybody else has got 28 tells me this line is going to go down. So if you do like Virginia, grab that 28 right now. I kind of agree. I think the 28 with Virginia is probably the way to go. I like the coaching staff over there. And that revenge has got to have something that's that quick revenge, actually, from the bowl game, I think is worth something. So I kind of like Virginia plus the 28 here.
Okay, and Rob, over to you. Do you like the Virginia Cavaliers here, the Wahoos, to stay within 4 touchdowns like Brian?
I wouldn't talk you off of it. I don't think I would rush to play Clemson in this game, Drew. I took a look at the total here, 55 points. As Brian mentioned, last year this game totaled 79. Is there 24 points difference between last year's game and this year's game? There's some difference, that's for sure. I just don't know that there's 24 points worth. We'll start with Virginia here real quick. They obviously benefit from the 7 turnovers. Brian talked about the 5 picks. They were losing that game last week 20-17 with 5:51 left in the third quarter. And then Duke goes out and turns the ball over their next 4 possessions. Virginia turns it into 21 points and wins. So Virginia got good field position, some late touchdowns off of turnovers, got themselves a win. They started a brand new quarterback, right? Brennan Armstrong. A little bit different than what we remember with Bryce Perkins, dual threat quarterback for Virginia last year, kind of carried the offense on his back. Armstrong, a bigger kid, 6'6", more of a pocket passer, but he's got the ability to run, guys. He ran it 10 times last week, averaged like 4.7 a carry, so he's not adverse to running the football here. What I think is interesting is the fact that when this coaching staff got to Virginia, Bronco Mendenhall, and specifically Robert Anae, the offensive coordinator. Robert Anae is a spread guy, up-tempo guy, couldn't really get it going the first few years. Last year, Virginia got going up-tempo. Cashed a lot of tickets on over with this team. I took a quick check on that first game that they played against Duke last week, 162 plays run. Virginia ran 84 plays from scrimmage. Duke ran 78. So you're going to go up-tempo versus up-tempo here, and perhaps even extreme tempo against extreme tempo. My only question for taking the points for Virginia would be, can they avoid enough 3 and outs to keep Clemson off the field? However, when I say that, you got to remember that in last year's game, Clemson wide receivers had a far different look. You had T. Higgins, who we see catching balls like crazy on Sunday afternoon, and I had Justin Ross, who's out with a medical condition this year. Only Amari Rodgers left and some new receivers. I still, Drew, despite all of that, I think that this game's going to be played quickly, and 55 in a college game isn't real hard to get to when you play that quickly. Virginia's got enough offensive firepower to get to 20, 21. I think this game gets up and over 55.
You know, Brian, coming lastly to you in conclusion, I mean, Robbie makes some compelling points here towards the over. I guess maybe in pushback, both defenses aren't terrible going off of last year's numbers. Do you have any strong opinion on this total, Brian?
No, I'm not the totals expert. Rob is, and if Rob's liking a certain side total in a game up, over or under, I'm paying attention to it. That's what Rob's made his bread and butter. So I don't do a whole lot on the totals, but it made a lot of sense to me.
Well, don't let them fool you guys. Check them out, WagerTalk.com. Brian Leonard, one of the best out there, college football especially. So for Rob Vino, Brian Leonard, I am Drew Martin. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And also, make sure to check out Sports Memo and WagerTalk.com. And remember, each and every Tuesday, $2 Tuesday, top handicapper at both sites. Top play, discounted to just $2. WagerTalk, SportsMemo.com.